Hello and welcome to the My School Adventure podcast. Today's episode is about innovative school ideas, and I'm chatting with Tammy Anderson, principal of Briar Road Public School in Aydes, New South Wales. And she's my first school principal guest on the podcast, so I'm really happy and also slightly nervous to have her here today. I have a few little childhood issues about talking to principals, but you're such a warm and lovely person that they're dissipating. I'm also really thrilled to have her on the show because she's been acknowledged by her peers as a leader in education. And she won the inaugural Australian Education Award for Co-Curriculum for Briar Road's Koori Cultural Program in 2018. And just recently, her school has received the prestigious Arthur Hamilton Award from the Australian Education Union in national recognition of Briar Road School's Aboriginal education programs. So Tammy's school is really, from her website, it's evidently warm and wonderful place to be. And we're chatting today about community engagement and stronger, smarter schools, sharing ideas that might be useful in your school. So welcome to the show, Tammy.
Thanks, Mel. How are you? And thanks for having me today.
Oh, it's my real pleasure. I think this is going to be a really great conversation. Thank you very much for taking time. Originally, I contacted your assistant principal because I saw a couple of really interesting things on your website about parent engagement, and they were parent excursions and parent library cards in particular, which we'll get around to talking to. But then I realised after a bit that you're doing a lot of innovative engagement at Briar Road, and your implementation of the Stronger, Smarter Schools program is probably a driver of it. So we'll just talk about everything. But first, Tammy, can you give us a little introduction about yourself and your background at Briar Road Public School?
Yeah, thanks, Mel. Look, my background is really entrenched in my school community. So I was a young girl who grew up in the Aydes community, which is where my school is based. I grew up, my father's an Aboriginal man. He's a Biripi man from the mid-north coast of New South Wales. My mum's a non-Aboriginal woman, but I grew up with a great sense of identity. And that was really fostered through the people that taught me here at Briar Road Public School, where I went as a student. So I have a very long history with the school, a very proud history with the school. In 1990, I was the school captain and first Aboriginal school captain of the school. And I've always had a desire in my teaching career to come back here. And as my teaching career and studies progressed, I was provided with that opportunity. And I haven't left. I've left for small periods of time where I've gone off to do other leadership opportunities. But for some reason, I keep getting drawn back here. And I've got an amazing K to 6, or I should say P to 6 setting, because we do have a very proud preschool and we have a very diverse, strong and proud school community. So I'm very, very fortunate to be leading it each and every day, and certainly don't take that role lightly.
So how many kids do you have in your school, just roughly?
Yeah, so we've just a bit about our school. We've got just shy of 300 students, P to 6. We've got when I say preschool, it's a preparatory program, so the year before starting preschool. We're very, very fortunate. We've got about 36% of our population identifying as Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander. We've got a large percentage of our population identifying from our Pacific nations, and also a great amount of students identifying as Māori. We have a large and emerging non-English speaking background community as well. So we have a really diverse school community, really, really great group of parents who support us, and just topped up by fantastic students.
I love it when principals say that. So we're here to talk about parental engagement, and everybody knows that when parents are engaged in their children's education, their children are more engaged and they have better outcomes. And also my own personal experience is when parents are engaged in the school, it helps the parent. It helps the parent gain self-confidence. It helps them gain friendships. You know, they might have been out of work for a while, rearing children, or just out of work, and just having that sense of community can help build them up, and also can help their children find playmates outside their regular classmate circle. So So at Briar Road Public School, you have a number of innovative programs, both for children and adults, to be more engaged with the school. So let's talk about them because they look really great and they might seed ideas for other schools. So maybe we can start with the Stronger, Smarter Schools program. Could you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, the Stronger Smarter program comes out of the Stronger Smarter Institute based in Queensland. Chris Sara was a principal at Cherbourg School, where he made some really sustained positive changes to school culture, and in turn it really changed academic and attendance rates for that school community. He went on to create an institute for leadership, in particular with a focus around schools that have strong ties with their Aboriginal community, knowledge, strong and growing Aboriginal population. So it was something that I was really, really keen to explore before I was a principal. I was exploring it. When I became a principal, some of the pedagogies around Stronger Smarter that really resonate with me is the way that we are with one another as leaders and as educators, and the way that we are with our students, and then importantly the way that we behave, act, think, say with our community, to lead to improved outcomes for our students and our community as a whole. So that's where the program come from. It really is about school culture at the end of the day, and creating a positive school culture, a place where people want to work, a place where students want to learn and thrive, and a place where the community want to send their children to. So that's pretty much the basis of Stronger Smarter. We do a lot of professional learning in that space, unpacking Aboriginal culture, unpacking a culture period, working on the ways that we utilise our interpersonal skills to bring out the best in others, is pretty much the basis. And it's just been something now that's been embedded in the work that we do every day with our children.
What's a culture period that you're saying, unpacking that? What do you mean?
Yeah, just about the way that we, in particular for us, our school vision, how we enact that each and every day, how we create positive school cultures, the way that we converse with one another, the way that we challenge low expectations, all of that leads to improved and for us sustained positive school culture.
And can you give us an example of programs that you run to implement these policies?
Yeah, look, we run many programs to support systemic change. Some of them obviously involve students, and some of them involve parents, and then some of them even just involve the staff. Some of the things that we do around parent engagement, we're quite innovative in that space, I believe. We do some work around running parent excursions. We implement a parent dinner each term, but that parent dinner is not your kind of chalk and talk base. We have speed dating where we set it up. Obviously, that sounds quite interesting in a school space, but it's set up like speed dating. So we have our committees who feed back to the parents, and we move quite quickly. It's short and sharp, but really does focus on the impact of the work that we're doing, and it also gives us an opportunity to gain that feedback from parents.
All right, so the speed dating thing is not romantic. It's
no, not at all.
Parents can go from committee or teacher to teacher for a couple of minutes and quickly update or be updated on what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So each of the committees in terms of our school plan provide, a 5-minute snapshot on what we've been doing, how we've been progressing, what are the outcomes for students that we're seeing, and then have some time for parents to feedback on where we go to next. And then we move around quickly. And it's really something that's worked well for our parents. We're a low socioeconomic community, and parent engagement has been something that is always on our agenda. And in previous years, we've probably struggled to get a really strong and sustained engagement with parents. But since we've implemented some fun stuff around what we do in parent meetings, we're having between 50 and 70 parents every meeting, which is great for a school of only just shy of 300. So we're really happy with that.
That's good. And what are the fun things that you do to encourage or entice parents to come?
Yeah, like one of our parent meetings, for example, we did the amazing race around our school, and so parents would get into teams, and we would race to a space in the school. There'd be clues there that were based on the school plan and things that we have done and things that we had seen some great growth in, and then they'd have to run off to another committee and get another clue. And parents, I think. Really respond to that in our school community, and that's not to say it works in every school community, but for us it's something that is growing and increasing our numbers.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
How often do you have the speed dating and the dinners, the parent
Yeah,
dinners?
once a term, and it's part of our feedback to community, and it also gives us an opportunity to showcase the evidence that we're collating in terms of what we're doing as a school. So it's a really great space to talk both formally and informally. So we have a dinner. We might have chicken and chips. We've had Chinese. We've had you know um, parents just have an opportunity to come along and feel safe in an environment to share their views. We also provide, we have a movie and popcorn opportunity for the kids. So parents who might not have babysitting can have the kids watched by some of our teachers while we do the important work of feeding back to parents and gaining feedback.
And the dinner, do you hold it on school grounds or do you go out to a restaurant? And is it like, how do you manage the costs? Because, perhaps not everybody's able to afford to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we're pretty fortunate because we are do have a good RAM allocation for our school in terms of low SES, and we have put aside some budget to that. But we've done both. We've been off site and we do on site. We find on site's a lot easier because it's close to the community. People don't. We offer transport. We have a school bus. So we offer families to pick them up and help out wherever we can. And we certainly, one of the things that I pride myself on, I lead a group of teachers who are happy to go the extra 1% every time. And that really does make a difference at the end of the day. And it's because of the work that they do around parent engagement and prioritising that, I think we have good uptake.
So we might just skip a couple of questions and maybe come back to them. But the parent excursions, while we're talking about parent engagement, where do you go? What do you do? What are they for? Who pays for them? Are they for profits or just to get people to be engaged? Just let us know about it.
Yeah, certainly. Nothing we do around the space with parent engagement is for profit for us. We fund, like I said, a lot of our programs for parent engagement are funded out of our RAM low SES. We've done excursions where we've gone to the education centre at Taronga Zoo. So having a school bus does make a bit of a difference because it keeps our costs down. We cover half of the cost, depending on where we're going and how much that costs. And on the way, it gives us an opportunity to talk to parents about what's happening in our school. We've been to places like Symbio Wildlife Park, simple things like we've done fishing excursions with dads and male staff fishing excursion out to Laperouse. We've done excursions to the Powerhouse Museum. And we try and turn our excursions into experiences that children have as well. So a lot of those places, a lot of schools go to for excursions, but we like to showcase them to parents as well. And parents seem to get a lot out of it. And it's an opportunity for us to really create meaningful partnerships and relationships with the parents that we support every day.
And it's only the parents who go along, right? And is it during school hours as well? So it gives them, or on the weekends?
Yeah, no, during school hours at this point in time, we have done ones that have been weekends, but we've found our uptake is fairly good and we can manage it with our school bus. Where we can support with taking small children, we do. But most of the parents take it as an opportunity to just spend some time talking to school teachers, and we rotate around who those people are that are going. So we send different people to go and get to know our community on a much deeper level.
Oh no, I think that's real. I think it would be fun to go to as well.
Yeah,
I think it's a really interesting way of connecting parents with teachers and having them involved and having fun. It's very, very nice. So
absolutely.
you have not just one teacher, but you have an entire group of teachers working on as a community liaison team. Is that correct? That's quite different
Yeah,
from schools.
yeah. Look, in our past, we've had a CLO who was primarily responsible for working with the community, obviously in partnership with the school learning support team. We've had a changeover of staff over a period of time, and we've gone with a model that is, I suppose, more sustainable in the sense that more people are understanding, what are the needs of the community and how we can best meet them. So we do have a group looking after community engagement, community liaison. I'm very fortunate to have a number of people in the school who have a variety of roles that can lend themselves to doing that work, such as our Aboriginal Education Officer. We have an executive assistant position at our school. She supports in that area. We have teachers who have a brief around the community engagement portfolio and part of the school plan who are involved. Myself and my executive team are involved. So, and it really does take a village. And what's great about it is that when somebody moves on, that knowledge and that information doesn't sit with one person.
And do you have, you've been running this quite successful parent engagement program for a little while. Do you have any numbers that show or some sort of proof to show it is actually working in school for the children?
Yeah, look, in terms of our evidence gathering, we conduct a number of surveys throughout the course of that year, with it particularly around the parent evenings, not just to garnish feedback, but also, to find out where and what they believe is happening for their students, their children, should I say, and how as a school we're performing. So we use things like Tell Them From Me to do that, and we also use school survey data. We've seen a massive increase from when we first started the parent engagement to now. And like I said, we're averaging 70 parents, which is a massive feat for a school as small as we are. So certainly the numbers are there in terms of participation. But most importantly, it's not about just showing up, it's about what we're gaining from the night. And there certainly has been some great feedback. And one of the things that's important for us in terms of accountability is when we get that feedback that we're actioning it, and parents can see that their feedback is being authentically honoured, and that's what we try and make sure that we do.
So can you tell us about the parent library cards? Why do you have them?
Yeah, yeah, library's been a space that I'm very fortunate. I have actually a teacher's aide who looks after my library. We don't have a librarian anymore, but she's phenomenal. Her passion for library and all things library has really made the difference. She's set up a number of opportunities for children, such as book clubs, and we're reading Storm Boy at the moment, but the parents also are the next port of call in terms of the school library. In our community, we don't, our local library is quite a distance away. So we wanted to encourage parents to utilise the resources of our school, and also to encourage them. We know that modelling reading is one of the most important aspects to early reading, and we wanted to make sure that our parents were provided with resources to be able to do that. And so we have our library open for our parents. We're in the process of just ordering right now laptops for the parents to be able to come in and use, and use that library more as a community space rather than a library for children.
Mm-hmm.
And so the borrowing system is there for parents as well.
The parents, but I'm just wondering because like children obviously have a library card and they can borrow whatever they want. So do you think it really makes a difference when parents go in and they're choosing books for their children to perhaps read together? Is that
Yeah,
yeah, it does.
and I think it's children seeing parents in that space, modelling that literacy is important, and that mum's going to have, or dad's going, or nan, whoever it is really taking the time out of their day to go in there and select a book with their child that they can read together. And on top of that, there's a range of teacher resources that we're open to parents borrowing as well. It's certainly very much so an open book, if you will, the library.
um, all right. We'll talk about the Aboriginal Culture Studies program, which is a big part of your school. So, what do you do that's different to Aboriginal culture programs in other schools, and how is it integrated into? Because you do have a very big number of kids of Indigenous background. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. And we're very fortunate to have a number of knowledgeable staff, which makes a difference. So certainly each school does their own work around Aboriginal education, and we all look differently. I'm very, very fortunate to just have on staff a number of people who are very skilled and have strong knowledge in culture. And also in teaching and learning. So in terms of our cultural studies program, we have a program that is for all children from preschool through to year 6, and it's accessible by, they come to the Koori room where they work with the Aboriginal education resource teacher and the classroom teacher on the topics that they may be studying in class. So if it's sustainability, for example, they will be covering it in a more greater depth with a deep Aboriginal perspective in their time in cultural studies. So not only does it give an opportunity for students to come of all backgrounds to learn about Aboriginal culture and First Nations people, but it also provides an opportunity for teachers to engage in professional learning. For a lot of teachers, it's not a space that they've taught in before. So by team teaching with our Aboriginal education teacher, we can provide them with a scaffold for teaching Aboriginal perspectives in a real meaningful and authentic way. So in the Aboriginal studies space, in our Koori room, we have a lot of artefacts. We're in the process of relaunching it's a lot of student directed learning with a heavy base in technology, but also keeps to traditional ways. So it's quite an innovative space for us. It's a space that we're very, very proud of. And mostly I'm proud of the work that teachers do in ensuring that culture is embedded in classrooms, because we know that that has made a difference for a lot of our students in terms of their self-identity, in terms of their engagement in classrooms, and in an even greater aspect is the engagement of parents, because they see value and worth and appreciation for culture.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. And it
Yeah,
would look different in every school as you're reflecting different groups, around the country.
absolutely.
Also, I would like to talk about just briefly the Your Future Self Mufti Day that I saw posted on the school's Twitter feed, because I did think it was really cute. I love seeing kids dressed up in costume. But what I liked about it was the aspirational thinking that you're starting, obviously, even in the young kids, and that it's something different to just, wear mufti and throw in a dollar coin for, to raise money for whatever you're doing. So, was there anything particular behind this idea, and is it something that I'm assuming this aspiration is an ethos that you are threading through the whole school?
Yeah, it certainly goes back to strong and smart philosophy around high expectations, that regardless of where we're from or what our circumstances are, that we all have the potential to be whatever it is that we choose to be. And as a school community, we've been fostering, breaking any stereotypes and challenging what people might think or perceive someone may do with their life because of their circumstance. So certainly for us, it's about students exploring their worth, knowing that they can be anything that they desire. And as a school, that we have a very important job to ensure that students are reaching their full potential for them to achieve what they want to. So that's probably it is the backstory in terms of the SRC's thinking around your future self mufti.
I love the ethos that you're showing, like, through this interview. My heart's going, I wish my kids could go to school like that. They do a little, but yours sounds really wonderful. Is there anything else that you would like to add that we haven't brought up that's innovative at your school about parent engagement and community engagement?
I just think I've seen some schools doing some amazing stuff, and everyone's on their own particular journey. Ours certainly isn't something that's just happened overnight. It's been a journey, and I certainly don't portray anything as challenging as engaging community, because it can be challenging to be a fairy tale. We've tried lots of things that haven't worked. But at the end of the day, we decided that we really had to think outside of the box, and that, you know, just holding a meeting and giving out a flyer and talking through it wasn't something that really was working for us. So we could have continued to do that with the same results, or we challenged ourselves to think a little bit differently. And one of the things that I have to say as a leader of a school, that when I encourage people to think differently and use innovation and be outside of the box, that I've got a staff who are brave and bold enough to be able to do it. And that's really important, because you can offer it as much as you want, but if you don't have the staff taking up and going, hey, this might just work, it certainly wouldn't have the effect that it has today. So yeah, I'm very, very fortunate to have a school community as amazing as mine. I've got some amazing parents who provide the school with so much. And then we've got this brilliant bunch of children who come here each and every day and give us the absolute pleasure of being able to teach them. And then I feel very fortunate to leading a staff that are open to doing things differently, and really are absolute professionals at everything that they do. So I feel very, very privileged to do this job.
Well, thank you very much, Tammy,
My
for being on the show. It's been a really big pleasure, and thank you for showing us a sample of the great programs you're doing and the wonderful ethos at Briar Road Public School. So, if you, in case listeners would like to contact you, maybe enroll their children at your school, would you like to share Briar Road's details?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're Briar Road Public School. We like to sing our praises as being Briar Brilliant. So if it's something that you endeavour to have for your children, we're located at 1 Briar Road, Aids 2560, and certainly engage with us on Facebook and Twitter, and we're open to sharing what we do as a school, both our successes and our challenges, so that people could learn from them. But we're more than happy to have people come along and see what we do and share. So thanks, Mel. It's been brilliant.